You are listening to Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. I'm your host, Shanel Scott. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer who has been supporting those on a spiritual journey for over a decade. I'm your tour guide into the world of the unknown, showing you that the magic of the universe is at your fingertips. I believe spirituality is simple and fun, and this podcast will make it easily accessible, giving you the real talk on all things divine and spiritual, helping you to step into the flow, manifesting your dreams because we all deserve to be living our best life. Are you ready for an adventure? Hello, sunshines, and welcome to a new episode of Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. My name is Shanel, and I am your host and your spiritual tour guide, here to always take you on a journey through this spiritual plane called life, giving you the real talk, all the good stuff. Keeping it simple and letting you know how you can infuse spirituality in your day-to-day to make it better. Today, we are doing a little energy forecast update because the energies have been really wonky. I have had a handful of messages from clients about the energy. I've been observing what's going on with friends and family with the energy, and I talked about it this morning in the weekly channeled message. If you don't follow me on social media or on YouTube, if you're just an Apple Podcast friend, welcome. But go and check it out on YouTube or social media. I do a weekly channeled message and a daily channeled message just to help you deal with the energies and to know what to expect. And I talked a lot about it this week, but I want to go deeper because I think it's something really important to talk about right now because so many people are feeling disheveled, uncertain, just kind of low. And I don't want anybody to feel that way because that's not what it's meant for right now. We stepped into a new frequency with the summer solstice and the full moon that kind of happened back to back. They were like a day apart. And it was some big energy that stepped in. And it wasn't an immediate opening of a portal necessarily or energy frequency, but it was a gentle kind of evolution, and it's been growing and evolving, and it's only been probably a couple of days where we've actually been able to step into this frequency and really truly feel it completely. Up until then, we were just kind of assimilating it. It was pushing all of our buttons in all the wrong places, and a lot of people were feeling really tired, really low, feeling frustrated or depressed, and it was really trying to move through that energy. This is lifted slightly, but it's still an energy that has got a lot of people feeling out of sorts, completely out of sorts. And I've been feeling it too. And I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to share is because I've been tapping into my intuition and my channeling my spirit guides and higher self and getting the answers as I go, and I'm not feeding it, but there's plenty of people that are. And like I said, I've had some few messages from, clients that are like, what's going on, Shanel? And so we're talking about it. We're talking about it. So one of the biggest things that's been coming up is this repeating of patterns, habits, lessons that we feel like we've already learned. This is this layering happening. And we talk about this in healing all the time, that there is layering. It's kind of like an onion where we're peeling back one layer at a time and doing deeper healing work. Sometimes we don't notice a layer or two or three or four because they're easy, but then we'll hit another one where it's really important to pay attention. Right now, energetically, it's really important to do the work in these and do some clearing of them because it is important to the movement forward. We cannot carry some of these things forward with us into this new frequency and new energy if we are doing the things that we are meant to do, stepping into that whole life purpose. And when I say that, life purpose, we give it this really big energy. And would you please stop? Because sometimes our life purpose isn't something huge and massive and life-changing for the world. Sometimes it's just huge and massive and life-changing for ourselves. Or maybe it's just something that's really subtle and it's meant to be. Something as simple as, being a mom, a really great mom, or a really fantastic school teacher, or, something simple. Like, it doesn't have to be like, which is what we often think of when we say, oh, what's my life purpose? Well, your life purpose just might be to be a kind and compassionate soul and to carry the light, and that's it. So right now, as we move through these things that keep coming to the surface, as we acknowledge them, it's not about forcing it back down or pushing it out of the way and saying this doesn't exist, because it is part of who we are. There are so many pieces of who we are that if they weren't there, we wouldn't be the person we are today. I often, when I talk about it in a healing sense, and when I'm teaching healing work, energy work, I talk about it like a quilt. This crazy patchwork quilt. It's not like it's got patterns or anything like that, but every experience we have in our life is like a new piece of fabric. And some are really small, and some are really big, and some are on the surface, and some are sewn over top of. And some we don't see, and we don't need to see anymore, but they're still a part of who we are. The lessons that we have learned have made us the person that we are today. So by acknowledging those things, we say, yes, that is a piece of me. And a lot of the patterns, habits, and belief systems that we've had are things that have been there to keep us safe. That's what they're all there for. I know, it's frustrating, right? But that safety is often from a place of fear and not from a place of empowerment. And we want to start to change the story and to move to a place of empowerment and moving into empowering ourselves into this place forward. When we move from fear, we're moving from a low vibration. So we can say thank you for that pattern that worked for me once upon a time, that kept me safe in that capacity. But I honor you and release you because I am moving forward in a pattern that is more empowering for me, in a pattern that is going to help me learn and grow in a different way. But I appreciate that you kept me safe for so long. We're not saying, hey, you didn't exist, because you did. You totally existed and you kept us safe, or what we thought was safe, for a very long time. So definitely jump in and explore those things. Explore the thing that is coming up. Why is it surfacing again? What is the pattern that you are repeating, or what is that thing telling you? What belief system did it hold? And how do you want to shift that belief system? By not acknowledging, we're not acknowledging the subconscious stuff, the crap that needs to come to the surface and be acknowledged. There's sometimes big healing that needs to happen. And sometimes, and I've been feeling this one, it's this thing of like, haven't I healed that already? Okay, I'll do a little more work with it. And when I dig in and I do a little more work, I feel and I see and I go, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for showing me that. Because it helps to move me along the pathway. And it teaches me something new about myself or something that was hidden about myself. So it really is an energetic of releasing right now. And it just feels like it's a little complicated because we're really butting up against this thoughts pattern or this belief that we've already done this work. When we release that and just go, okay, it's showing up. It has something to tell me. When fear shows up, when anxiety shows up, when old patterns or belief systems show up, they're here to say something to us. And sometimes it's just congratulations. You have learned this lesson. You have passed this test and it's time to move forward. And it's this great feeling of like, yeah, I did. I learned that. I didn't go back to that person, or I didn't, cross that boundary that I set up, and it kept me in a place that felt really good. So acknowledge it when it comes up. We as humans are infamous for shoving it down, numbing it out, pushing it away, pretending it doesn't exist, completely avoiding it, ignoring it. Like, no more, no more, no more. One of the messages that has been coming through really loud and clear is like, no procrastination. Deal with it. As it arises, deal with it. Do not procrastinate. Which again, We use procrastination to avoid and to not deal with the thing in the time. And it just, if you procrastinate, it's just going to come up more and more and more, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Just don't do it. As we clear these layers, it is also about the clarity that we have. And again, here's another one of those places where we have a belief system. If something is happening that we don't like, then we think it's wrong or bad or negative or whatever. But sometimes it's showing us what we don't want. And I use relationships because it's a really easy one to comprehend. But when we meet someone and they're not for us, they're not our person, it's the universe saying, okay, I was trying. Here, and what parts didn't you like? So then you say to the universe, these are the things I didn't like. And then you can look at your list and say, okay, is there anywhere that there's a gap in my perfect person, in my ideal person? Let's not use the word perfect because perfect is low energy. In my ideal person. So you can look at those things you didn't want and compare your list. And maybe you have to change something, or maybe you have to add a few things that are, the opposite of what you received in that person. So that's part of the clarity. Part of the clarity is going, I don't want to be this thing anymore. I don't want to do this thing anymore. It is about going, okay, I don't like this. So how am I moving forward? So again, as those things come to the surface, acknowledge them and say, I don't want to have a belief system that money is hard to get. I don't want to live that way anymore. Instead, I want to live in a way that money flows to me easily. So how am I going to acknowledge this belief system and move it into a belief system that feels better? See the pattern here? See how we're doing the soul work, moving along? And again, it doesn't have to be heavy. The stuff that's been coming up for me, it might not feel great in the moment, but it's not heavy. It's more of a, mental note, and then I get to my journal and I do some work around it. And I release it and I let it go. And I don't hold on to the low feelings. They're not meant to linger. It is not meant to drag you down right now. It is meant to empower you and lift you up. So if you look at it in that way, you begin to shift things immediately. When we focus on the solution instead of the problem, I love that one. This is the solution. This is empowerment. This is rising up. This is leveling up. This is raising your vibration and moving into this beautiful new frequency of love, peace, and joy, and abundance. And doesn't that sound like a lovely place to be? So keep acknowledging it. Keep moving through it. Keep getting the clarity. The clarity right now is really about the end goal. It is partially the now, but it is also the end goal or dream. What the universe wants you to do is surrender, though. It is really, truly about finding your flow. And this one is so hard to explain to you because when you find it, and usually there's this miniature finding it and you're like, oh my God, I found the flow and it's so good, Shanel. And then I'll get another message a few weeks later and go, oh, I thought I found it, but now I found it. And oh my God, it's so good. When you find flow, it is this sense of just knowing and trust and peace and it just feels so light. We let go of forcing. We let go of control. We let go of so many of the things that are heavy to carry, perfectionism, all of these things that when we release them and move forward into the flow, things just happen. I cannot even count on one hand. It's probably two hands. The amount of times over this last week, and I had a busy week. I was at school all week long, covering, making sure that camp is running smoothly, getting paperwork done. I had a really brain heavy week, yet probably two hands worth of validations, messages, moments where when I was present, I saw everything that I needed to see. And it had awareness that shifted things. Even something as stupid and simple as Friday morning, I was having a dream that my husband wasn't paying attention to me. And I woke up and went, well, that's weird. And when I got up and started moving around, because he works straight nights, he was down in the basement working on something. So I made my tea, I sat down, I scrolled social media a little bit, and I went, oh, the universe was just telling me he had things to do this morning and to just let him get things done. And he did. He had some paperwork that he was trying to get organized that didn't work earlier that night, and he was just sorting it out. So instead of me getting upset that he wasn't coming upstairs to spend time with me, I already knew. It was so beautiful because I was present. So the presence that you have right now, this finding this flow, is really integral in the movement forward. It makes you have so much more ease and grace in life. When we have flow, we see the steps and we find the how slowly but surely as it unfolds in front of us. We are used to, and we come from a belief system, a societal belief system, and a patriarchal system that says to us, this is the way we do things. There has to be control. There has to be organization. There has to be. And it's just this like tick, 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 boom, boom, boom. And that's not what we're moving into at all. And so it feels really counterintuitive because we've been shown for so long one way, but energetically the whole world is shifting. So we're all moving into this new energy, and those that are stuck in this like controlled domination, power, struggle, like you're just going to have so many problems because that's not the way the world is meant to work anymore. Sorry, it's just not. So when you step into the flow and you release, the how is going to appear for you. The steps that we need to take along the way are going to appear for you. So 2 parts to this clarity. I want you to get clear on where you are. What feels good? What doesn't? What do you want to change in this moment? Because there's always things in this moment that we're going to change. You know, I've committed to taking a 5+ K walk more often and to being really mindful about what I put in my mouth so that I'm not just emotional eating, which I have a tendency to do because I get bored. I spend a lot of time on my own because my husband works straight nights and I have teenagers who don't hang out with me. So I'm trying to be really mindful of that and making better choices, but also making better choices in the meals I cook and the things that I have in the house to eat so that I'm not being tempted by sweets and treats and salty things that are delicious. So that's in this moment, this right now is the things that I'm being present about and the clarity that I'm having and what I'm doing in this moment to take care of me and to be the me that I want to be authentically. But then the other half of that is, what are your dreams and goals? What are you trying to create? And that can be like, you know, because it's July already. What are you going to do for the rest of 2024? Maybe you have a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. Whatever it is, I want you to start putting it out there. Being really clear about what you want to create, about where you want to go. And again, I want you to release the how. And this is why. Because when we try to figure out how we're going to get there, sometimes we go, well, that's impossible. I can't do that. I don't know how I'm going to get from A to B. And so then we write it off. But if you can envision it in your mind, doing the thing, the big thing, you are capable of getting there. What's getting in the way is your logical brain, fear, you know, some of those things that we like to just say, we don't have time for you. When we say, hey, I don't have time for you, all of a sudden we open the doors for the universe to show us how to get to those places. So having to release the steps involved helps us to open up to the energy of what it is we want to create instead of an energy of, oh, there's so many problems to get me to that place. I don't know how I'm going to get over these obstacles. Oh, I don't know why this fear is coming up and how do I deal with it? Instead, we're just excited about that incredible thing that we are going to create. And it's such different energies. One is so high vibration and light and movement and flow. The other one is like a rock. You might as well just tie yourself to it. You have the choice of how you move forward and the energies that you create. Now, why is this important, you're asking? And why am I talking more about this? Because I covered some of this already in the weekly channeled message. The reason we're talking about this is because we're moving into the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8 portal. The lion is very representative of power, not domination kind of power, but just strength and empowerment. It is a very fierce figure. The energy of this portal is also very powerful and giving you strength. You are going to start to feel the opening of this portal on August 2nd, coming to a peak on the portal, 8-8, August 8th. And then you're going to feel it, the energies slowly dissipate again all the way through until about August 12th. So for the first 2 weeks of August, we're going to have this energy that we are working with. At the end of this energy portal, again, we're going to feel another energetic shift. This one's going to feel a little bit different because they're showing it to me not like a portal opening, but almost like the old portal is closing, maybe, is what they're trying to show me. Because it feels like a swap out. So I feel like an old energy cycle or portal is finally going to close there. My guess is, and I haven't looked, but let's peek anyways, that there might be a moon cycle that's right around that. Nope, new moon is on the 4th and the full moon is on the 19th. But it does feel like there's an ending of a cycle there, a closing off. So it's going to be a lot up until that middle of August kind of feeling. Then it feels like until the end of August, we're having a period of kind of like, there's a lot of epiphanies, a lot of aha moments, a lot of, oh, that's the next step moments, a lot of, extreme clarity, they're saying, having this deep knowing. The difference between the how and the flow is also this piece of trust. When we have this unwavering faith, this unwavering trust, this deep knowing that something is going to happen, it just has a very different energy. It's so light, it's so airy. There isn't necessarily an excitement to it, which I think a lot of people are looking for. But I also want to say that please acknowledge that excitement and anxiety carry the same kind of physiological feelings. They're just, we label them differently so that we accept them in a different way. So it's not that we're moving into those energies, we're moving into a peaceful, kind of more calm and centered energy. It's kind of this grounded, like, of course it is. Of course that's happening. It's already happening. I'm sure of it. I'm just waiting to get to that day, right? So it's a big energy shift. In that, it is preparing us for what is next. And they haven't shown me what is next. I don't think I need to know right now. We don't need to jump that far ahead because there is a lot to do over this next almost 2 months. So focus on the things that need to be dealt with, the things that need to be cleared, the things that need to be empowered. Now, I have a few invitations for you. Always the invitation to do the soul work, to learn and grow and evolve and all of those good things. My other invitation to you is maybe you create some kind of ritual or ceremony or, something that allows you to really honor the energy shifts. It can be a really powerful way. Everybody's going to do their own thing. And maybe it's just what you're drawn to on that day. Maybe you have a plan to get together with some soul sisters or people of like mind and energy to do some energy work and some journaling or whatever. But, it is a beautiful way to connect and gather in the energies that are coming forward. So it's just an invitation for something to think about, okay? Lastly, I invite you to honor yourself. We have been brought up in a society that says that honoring ourselves is selfish, that when we are focused on who we are and what we need, that it is selfish. And yes, it can be if it's not done in the right way. But oftentimes, the boundaries we set, the distance between loving you and me simultaneously, putting ourselves as a priority so that we're not emptying our cup, but we are filling it to the point where it overflows to fuel the others instead of depleting ourselves, is powerful. Learning these things, avoiding the drama, focusing on the solution, being in the flow. They are incredible ways to up level and bring yourself much more peace in your life. So, I am going to leave it there today. Big talks about energy. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some clarity, direction, all that good stuff as to kind of how to move through this month. Or the next 2 months, I should say. This month, it is July the 12th. Friday, July 12th is Yoga Nidra. Feel free to join me in person at Dundas Yoga and Fitness or on Zoom. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's always pay what you can. There is also the Yoga Nidra Club, which is just $10 a month Canadian. That gives you that live Zoom as well as a library of recorded Yoga Nidra. There's about 25 in there right now that you can do on your own time whenever you feel like it. I am doing a group past life regression later this month. You'll have to check out the website to jump on that. It will be on Zoom. And I am also doing a practice night of reading cards. So whether you're tarot or oracle, I'm going to do a short teaching and then move into breakout groups where people will get to read for each other and get to practice. So it doesn't matter, again, reading oracle or reading tarot. It's just an opportunity to get to practice. So you can check out those things on my website. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I am always so incredibly grateful. If you can energy exchange with me, like, share, comment, subscribe, go follow me on social media. I am so appreciative for those things that don't cost you anything but a few moments of your time. It means the world to me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. From my heart and soul to yours. Until the next time, my friends. Bye now.